Hey guys, thanks for joining me for this 48th episode in Season 2 of Good Questions with Cameron Dole. Special guests for this episode include country singer-songwriter Emily Miller, also country singer and songwriter Becky Priest, and Australian country band Darlinghurst will wrap the show up today. Of course, if you would, please take the time to subscribe, drop a like, comment, leave some feedback, and of course share with your friends. Well, if you like everyone you work with, then you're lucky. Or maybe lying to yourself. Because a new survey found that 92% of us have at least one coworker we find annoying. And here are the 10 most annoying behaviors. Number 1, they're too loud. Over 85% said loud coworkers are annoying. Number 2, they gossip. Number 3, they're lazy. Number 4, they're bad at their job. Number 5, bad personal hygiene. Number 6, they complain or whine too much. Number 7, they're too pessimistic or have a bad attitude. Number 8, they're a know-it-all. Number 9, they're constantly late. And number 10, they take too many sick days. Now, a few more for the top 20 include being messy, being too distracting, sending unnecessary emails, eating smelly food, and oversharing things about their personal life. Our next guest on the podcast, singer, songwriter, influencer as well, I might add, Emily Miller on the line with us. And first off, Emily, I appreciate you taking some time to be on the show.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Now, Emily, let's do a little backstory. Where does Emily Miller originate from? Where do you call home, first off?
I was raised in Westchester, Ohio. It's a suburb of Cincinnati, about 30 miles north of downtown Cincinnati.
And where did music start for you? Was it like so many others in church and family, maybe a mixture of both?
Definitely both. I was raised in church singing from a very young age in every children's choir. And but my dad also sang. He was an Elvis impersonator back in dental school. And so I grew up listening to him sing at church and around the house. And my grandma played piano, and I had a bunch of other musical kind of influences. No one did it as a career, but they all were always at the house. And so I was kind of exposed to it at church and at home at an early age.
Now, when did instruments start for you? Did you get thrown into like piano lessons? How long was it before you started enjoying the lessons, I guess?
I definitely was thrown into piano lessons when I was 6 or 7. We moved to Westchester, and my mom signed me and my sister, who is 4 years older than me. She signed both of us up for like a after school, before school program of piano lessons. And I enjoyed it, but I also didn't enjoy it. I probably was just a typical 6 or 7 year old at the time. I did not practice. I didn't do anything. And so I got really good at sight reading music, because I would show up for the lesson the next week and I hadn't practiced a thing. And so I just started sight reading on the spot, and it has helped me in the long run. I'm like, my Brazilian piano teacher, she probably wouldn't be happy to hear that I never practiced, but I took from her all the way from like when I was, like I said, 6 or 7, all the way until I graduated high school at 18. And so I took from the same person all the way through. And I would say once I started diving in, it was all classical based. And once I started diving in and doing my own kind of music and like doing country music and sitting down and not reading sheet music, but more chord charts and stuff like that, that's when I started to enjoy it. And then my dad has played guitar for as long as I remember. And so around, I think I was 13, they got me my first guitar. And so I started playing guitar, and it was the same thing. I never practiced. I had a guitar teacher, but I'd say 75% of what I know today came from me watching YouTube videos or just going out to shows and picking up on things that people do, and just learning that way. I'm more of a visual learner than an audio, like oral, I guess it is, oral learner. And so that's kind of where, and I started singing the whole time. And that's all I wanted to do is I didn't want to learn the basics of stuff. I just wanted to learn, how do I sing this Alan Jackson song? That was pretty much my philosophy on life.
Now, for you, was Nashville always the goal? Was that always the destination for you and your plans?
Yes, I would say starting in really in high school was when I had no other intentions of doing anything else. My parents brought us to Nashville for a family vacation to CMA Fest for some years, and that's really where I discovered Nashville and just kind of knew that that's where I wanted to go if I wanted to do country music, and there was no other destination. And it took some kicking and screaming on my part to convince my parents to let me move down to Tennessee, because like in Westchester, Ohio, people stay in Westchester, Ohio. They don't typically leave. And so my mom I remember her saying, why are my girls leaving home? Like, why do I have to be the one? And so at 18, once I went to Belmont University, that was my only way of getting down here, was I went to college, and that's really where there was no other option for me. It was either Belmont. I interviewed at other schools. I auditioned for music programs at other schools, but everyone in my family and all my friends knew that there was no other option for me.
Now, once getting accepted to Belmont, I mean, how much did your vision change once you got into school and got out on your own? How much has the road changed, I should say?
The road has changed me 100%. I am definitely not the same person that I was even in college. And when I first graduated college, I started playing on Broadway in Nashville and playing at all the honky tonks down there. And that really was where I learned the most. I was constantly being thrown into new situations, new bands every day, and you never knew what was going to happen. And so my vocal cords definitely took a beating during those first two years, playing 4-hour shifts and sometimes 8 hours in a day. I'd be singing, and it's just when you're in a smoky bar and just around people that are at your level and that are not at your level, it makes you think differently. And so, yeah, that was, but then when I started traveling on my own, and I do a lot of acoustic shows on my own, and then I also do a lot with my band, and they definitely just meeting new people and, seeing the world, I'll just say, seeing the country, and going from Nashville to Ohio to Kentucky to South Carolina to Alabama, everywhere in between. It changes you as a person. And I am so grateful for my time on the road, because I've met some amazing people that have influenced my music and have influenced my life in a tremendous way.
And I know we mentioned it in passing earlier about taking the trash out, and whenever I saw the name of the title, it's completely off from what the writing was. All I can think of, taking the trash out, that's where we see our neighbors these days. That's about the only place we see our neighbors, right?
Yeah.
Tell us where did the inspiration come from for you? That's just where the inspiration went for me. I'm sorry to bring you to lay that on you.
No, I get that now. Every time my mom will be like, "Oh, it's garbage night," I'm like, "No, Ma, it's trash night. We got to take the trash out." She always says garbage, and I'm like, "Listen, if you're going to be my number one fan, you got to get with the lingo and take the trash out these days." And but yeah, no, Take the Trash Out came from my buddy. He's one of my best friends in town. Drake Austin is his artist name, and I told him I was trying to round out my EP and I needed some upbeat songs. And I told him, I was like, I need something that's me, like 100%. I'm a sassy soul. I've always been that way. And I just need something that's me. And I was on my way to Kentucky for a show one time, and he called me and he was like, take the trash out. And that's all he said. And I was so confused. I was like, what are you talking about? And he was like, that's your song. That's what we're going to write. And I was like, you know what? Like, that makes sense. And I always have to coin the phrase. If anyone's been around me enough, they've heard me say it. I always say boys are stupid. And I haven't had the best of luck with finding good men in life. And so that's where we kind of came up and focused on taking the trash out for more of a sense of, like I say, it's springtime now, and do like a little spring cleaning of your life, and not necessarily your house, but your life, and just finding us a man instead of a boy, and so that's kind of where it came from, and we just used some life experiences, I'll say, from past relationships to take the trash out.
To put the color into the picture, right?
Yes, 100%.
Now, we talked about going to the Belmont, and you've obviously had opportunities to open for some amazing artists, all the way from Kenny Rogers to probably mine and my wife's favorite on the list would be Aaron Lewis. But how much different is it opening for the different artists, and how much do you have to change your presentation? Do you have to adapt that as well?
Yeah, it's interesting just being around people that are. I've been lucky enough since my time in Nashville to be around some pretty big names in the industry and have them in passing, and it's crazy. I'm definitely an introverted extrovert, and so if you start talking to me, I'll talk your ear off. But if I'm not one to just go up and talk to somebody. Some of these people are crazy to just think that like I was in their presence, and I was able to go on like Kenny Rogers' tour bus when he came to a public relations firm that I was interviewing, or that I was interning with at the time, and just how nice and how respectful they are. It's crazy to think that there are rude people in this industry that I've come across. So many great people, and that are so helpful, and they just want to help you. And it's definitely a big learning experience every single time you're around somebody like that.
And for you, Emily, we talked also about being I said influencer, and I know you mean that in the most literal of terms, being able to affect others by leading by example. And how important is that in your day-to-day life and in the way that you approach your craft as well?
Yeah, it's very important to me. I've had some very young fans follow me from the time they were 4 years old, and then I've got people that are in their 80s that are faithfully following me, and so there's a lot of eyes watching you in this career and seeing what you do and how you react and respond to things. And I think the biggest thing for me is I try to be 100% authentically myself. And like I said, I'm a sassy soul, and I've always been that way. And so but mainly it's me trying to put out there to everybody to just be themselves. I feel like there's such a stigmatism in the world that we have to be perfect and that we have to be this and that. And I know I was raised, and my mom always wanted to put the best foot forward. And I was like, sometimes, it's not that way. Sometimes bad days. Sometimes there's drama going on, and I will speak on any of that. And I've always been an open book. And if somebody wants to know where I come from or my hardships in life or my successes in life, like I'll be glad to tell any of that, because my goal as an entertainer, as an influencer, as an artist, as a musician, as anything, as a human being, is to take my failures and my successes and help others grow from that.
And in the times that we're living in, Emily, what's it like to get the feedback, especially in this last 12 months, because we know how much we've all been having to face?
Yeah, it's the last 12 months have been crazy. And there's definitely been times where I've posted that I was going to play a show somewhere, and people are like, oh, you shouldn't be out and about. You shouldn't be doing this and that. And I'm like, well, at the end of the day, I understand that, and we take all the safety precautions. Like if the venue tells me I have to wear a mask, I wear a mask. I am vaccinated. Luckily, my parents are in the medical field, and so I was able to get vaccinated at an early time, and so I've taken every precaution, and I do whatever I can to just make sure that we're all safe. And if what I'm doing isn't appealing to you, then just don't watch it, and just keep on scrolling and keep on doing your thing. I'll do my thing.
Now, what's been the biggest challenge these last 12 months, maybe social media wise? Have you picked up any new social media accounts?
Yeah, I'm trying to get into the whole TikTok thing, and it's fun, but it's also stressful. I hate social media. I'll be the first one to say that. Social media is not horrible, and it's a great outlet for you to, like, I keep up with some friends from home that I haven't seen since high school on social media. But at the same time, it's such a dark hole if you're not careful. And so I think TikTok is one of those things that seems fun, but it's also a dark hole because I get on TikTok and I scroll sometimes for hours, and all of a sudden it's 2 hours later and I'm like, what have I done with my life? And so I've been trying it, and I do it every once in a while. But really during the last 12 months, I've tried to stay off social media as much as I can without it affecting the career side. And I have to post just to keep the algorithm up and everything. But algorithms are so crazy these days, and it's becoming such a hard thing to even reach a crowd and grow your audience. And I think a lot of other people, from talking to friends and family and just peers, is that a lot of other people are staying off of social media because it's, like I said, it's training. And I think during quarantine, it was getting to the point where it was mentally hurting people to be on social media. And so it's a stepping stone for me, social media. I'm like, one of these days, I'm just going to have somebody probably run it for me. If it's up to me, I'll always be the one that makes the content, makes the captions. But past that, I will reiterate it time and time again. I hate social media.
That's funny. Now, we mentioned the new single. We're talking about it actually before the release. And if folks want to find information about taking out the trash, tell us, Emily, where folks can find the information and release this Friday. Is that right?
Yes, it is this Friday. I have a link on my Instagram, and you can find it on Facebook, or that takes you kind of to the pre-save option, or if this coming after Friday, it will be on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, wherever you can find music. Pretty much every platform, it'll be on there. And so, yeah, I'm excited for it to come out, and you can just find it anywhere.
All right. Well, Emily, it's been great to visit with you this morning. I wish you nothing but the best. Hopefully a great release Friday coming up this weekend, and hopefully we can catch up again real soon.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Now, you've probably spent a lot of time inside your house in the past year, more than you ever expected. So what have you done to the place to make yourself happy? Or at least sane? Well, a new survey asked people what they do to their house to put themselves in a better mood, and the top 3 are keep it clean, make sure it smells good, and set the temperature so it's comfortable. The survey also found 2/3 of people have taken time in the past year to try to fix up their place so it helps their mood. Pianist, background vocalist, producer, so many other things as well. We'll just say Becky Priest on with us today. That's how we'll introduce her. And first off, Becky, I appreciate you taking some time to be on the show.
Oh, my goodness. Let me tell you, Cameron, I am so happy to be here. I'm just going to quote Minnie Pearl. I'm just so happy to be here.
Now, Becky, tell our listeners, if they haven't heard the Nashville Keys, how this all started up in the first place. We've got new music to talk about, but I wanted to get kind of the backstory, if you will, how you guys first came together.
Well, how long you got? I can tell you, I can kind of give you those short versions. Let's see. I'm friends with one of the greatest legacy of big band leaders, Les Brown Jr. and the Band of Renown. And Les Brown's a buddy of mine from Branson. And Les was in town. He was working with my now record label, working on a project for master tracks of Doris Day, which I absolutely love Doris Day. And Les was in the studio with John Forbes, who is not only the engineer, but he was also doing all the extra keyboard tracks and the orchestrations and things of that nature to back up what was the Page Kavanaugh Trio and Doris Day. And since he was in town, he gave me a call, Les gave me a call, and he said, you need to come over to Eastside Studios, and you need to hear this project. And I was like, I'm there, right? So I got there, and just so happened, Thomas Gramuglia, who is the president of Hindsight Records, he and also the label that I am on, which is Country Rewind Records, he was there. And so I was just enjoying listening to the tracks and listening to Doris sing. It was just like otherworldly, being there, listening to her voice. And the Page Kavanaugh Trio, that she used to frequent nightclubs and go see these guys and hang out with them and just sit in and play. She said, hey, we need to put a album or a record together. And so that's what they did. The three of the trio went in with Doris and made this record. Well, Tom Gramuglia found a way to own these tracks, and he wanted to make it into a full-blown album. That's why he brought Les Brown in, because obviously Les Brown Sr., if you know any of the background of the Band of Renown, Les Brown was Bob Hope's band for just about everything. And his, quote, chick singer was Doris Day. And so Les had this connection with Doris, because when he was little in the wings watching his dad lead the band and Doris was out there singing, he said Doris was kind of like my babysitter. And so it was a really special project for him. So I was so excited that he asked me to come in and listen to this and just kind of hang in the background and listen to John and his orchestrations and stuff, because I love to do that type of stuff too. By the way, John Forbes was also Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown's musical director. So he knows his stuff, let's just say. And Tom, like I said, Tom Gramuglia was there, and on a break, Les said, hey, you need to listen to this girl play piano. And, she sings too. And he told him about who I'd worked with and all this stuff. And so we just went into the studio. There's the concert grand there, luckily, and sat down at it. And he said, just play something and sing something. So I don't know, I played something that I used to sing out on the road with Bill McCoy when I was with him as his band leader for about a decade. And Tom was like, oh, wow, So that's kind of how this whole thing started, how we kind of kicked this whole party off. And the idea just for the Nashville Keys, we mulled over several different names, but the Nashville Keys won out. And I really like it. I like the moniker. And it's me basically playing all these hits. The first, we're doing 3 CDs. The first, obviously, is the one that was just released March the 19th, I believe, which is the Nashville Keys debut country love songs. And I just got all my buddies together from all my touring, or I should say my road dog buddies, for the past 27 years. I guess since I started with Trisha Yearwood in 1993, all the people that I've met and worked with and are friends of mine came together on these 14 songs. And I arranged them and everything. And basically the piano is just singing the melody just like the artist would be. And we try to stay true as we can to the original arrangements and keys. And so it would have that feel and that vibe. And I'm so thankful that, I had Keith Rainwater on drums from Lone Star. And so I have Keith and Brad Corbin, who played dobro and steel on Amazed. So it's really great that actually had the players for Amazed, as well as having on Bless the Broken Road, I've got Travis Toy on steel guitar, who is a buddy of mine from the Patty Loveless days. And he played the steel on that. And then also on Look at Us, he just totally recreated the amazing Papa John Huey, steel guitar solo off of that particular hit. And oh my gosh, who else? Johnny Garcia. I can't really talk about this CD without talking about Johnny Wan, because Johnny and I have known each other since about 1993 when I auditioned for Trisha, and he was the band leader then, and still there. And also he works for this up and comer named Garth Brooks. So,
he works for a little guy
going on. Yeah, he's a busy little dude. So, but yeah, so Johnny, I asked John if he would play guitars on this, and it worked out really that he just ended up co-producing the whole project with me because he liked the idea so much, and we finished up the tracks at his studio in his home studio in Nashville called Busy at Play, and did all the extra keyboards and overdub strings and that nature, and he did all his guitars and stuff there. So yeah. And the next single that we got coming out, well, the first one was Valentine, which aptly came out on Valentine's Day. So way to go, Tom. That's good planning. I said, that's just a God thing, because we certainly didn't. We at first expected this CD to come out in October last year, but with COVID and everything else going on, it just didn't happen. So of all things, again, a God thing, it ended up that the first single was Valentine, and it just coincided with Valentine's Day. I went, yes, I love this. I love it when a plan comes together. And so let's see. But the new single, we are going to perform, Johnny and I are going to perform this on today in Nashville on WSMV on May the 14th. Excited about that. It's just going to be kind of both of we might do it with the track. I don't know, but because there's some dobro and stuff in there, and I'm not sure if Brad is available for that yet. We'll have to check. But Johnny and I will be on today in Nashville doing this, the new single, which is the Garth Brooks song "To Make You Feel My Love," and it was a huge hit also for Adele as well in the pop world. So it's definitely got some legs. This song. And I just love it. I love I handpicked every one of these songs because they all mean something to me. I mean, they're mostly songs and hits from, say, 1985 to about the year 2000 in that area. So all 90s country, which was kind of like my heyday, being out on the road and touring with everybody. And when Johnny and I met too was in the 90s. So it's just kind of a full circle type of thing,
Yeah.
And we ended up doing let's see, what is the one that, I'm looking at this list here. The Dolly Parton song, I Will Always Love You.
Mm-hmm.
That song is probably the most special to me because I lost my mom in January 3rd, 2014. And her last request, basically the last thing she wanted played music-wise at her funeral was that song. And so that's just kind of carrying over for my mama. And for my sister, I lost my sister the closest to me in 2017 from multiple sclerosis she had for 30 years. and that she died from complications of that. And then I just recently lost my only other sister from Alzheimer's last September. So this is kind of also a labor of love and love songs for my family too. That has gone on to heaven. So
and
just
for
trying to carry it on here for them.
there you go. Now, music obviously so therapeutic, and for you, how therapeutic is it with all that you just mentioned to be able to release that and pay that respect as well?
I can't even begin to tell you how important music is. Well, for one, for people with dementia and Alzheimer's, because I've seen it firsthand with both of my sisters. It brings them back to life. It literally puts that spark back in their eye again. My sister Roycelyn, who passed away from MS, she didn't know me for probably the past 12 years of her life. I was just, that pretty lady that comes to visit her that plays piano. And I would say, oh, well, Roycelyn, you want to sing some songs? And boy, she will launch right off into Amazing Grace. And I mean, she knew the words to Amazing Grace, but not only that, she knew all the words to all the hymns that we used to play together in church growing up in Hubbard, Texas, the First Baptist Church there in Hubbard, Texas. And because I played piano and she played organ, and really, I always consider her the singer, but because she has such a great voice. But interestingly enough, all of the songs that we grew up listening to, all the classic rock and all the classic country and things, those weren't the songs she remembered. She remembered the hymns, and that says something to me, And so it was always a joy to get to go visit her, and we would play through those songs, and she would sing. And matter of fact, I even had Amazing Grace put on her headstone. We did a GoFundMe for her headstone. And I can't thank everyone enough that is listening out there. If you gave anything toward this beautiful headstone, it's just such a wonderful monument to and memorial to my sister. Her beautiful pictures on it. So it's music is a healer. Don't ever think it isn't.
That's right. Now working alongside Johnny, I've known Johnny for a few years, and I've had the chance to be at a rehearsal. Tell our listeners that haven't had the opportunity to spend around Johnny, I mean, just how blown away you are whenever he starts plucking on the strings.
Oh, it's interesting enough. The first time Johnny and I met, it was kind of funny. I was just beginning I'd only been in Nashville 8 months when I got the audition with Trisha. We had moved from Dallas. I was a featured singer at Cowboys nightclub there in Dallas off of Garland Road, the first Cowboys, with the Bobby Smith and Country Blues Band. And I had so many people come through there and say, hey, these big Nashville artists or managers or whatever, like, well, hey, you should move to Nashville. I'm going like, oh, I'm just a small town girl. I can't make it up there. I didn't have the confidence, But every time they came in, it just kind of just bumped up my confidence that much more. And I thought, well, might as well try. You can't win if you don't play. So we moved in. My family, my daughter was 7, and my son was just about almost 4. And we all 4 of us moved to Nashville in 1992. And I just got out and started playing all the different contests and different little bars and stuff with my card, carrying my card with me. So important with your phone number. And I was playing at the Stagecoach, which is no longer there now off of Murfreesboro Road, but I was playing at the Stagecoach, and I kind of got known as that blonde girl keyboard player that could sing. And I had a guy come up to me after one of these contests and say, hey, would you maybe play piano for my demo? I said, sure. Absolutely, I'd love to. Well, the guy's name was Brett Beavers. And God bless you, Brett Beavers, because you kicked everything off for me, wherever you are today. Brett, so we went into the studio at Angelo Sound, which was a Bob Angelo studio, a friend of Johnny Garcia's. And I didn't know Johnny Garcia, and at all. But we went in to get our charts here when Johnny walks in, and he goes, oh, yeah, he says, Becky Priest, I don't know her. He says, but we'll see, And by the end I'm going, okay. But by the end of the session and stuff, Johnny came up to me and said, "Hey, girl," he says, "Tim Lauer is going to be leaving and going to Winona. And we're going to be having auditions for Keys. And being that you sing and play so well," he said, it would be like 2 for 1. And you really need to come audition for Trisha." And I was like, "What?" So, right. So that's really the first time I heard him play was during some of the sessions, which Trisha always said, she had one word for each one of her band members, or in an interview one time. And for Johnny, it was passionate. And that is Johnny. I mean, I don't know if it's Hispanic or if because he's Latino or if it's just because he's an amazing guitar player. He's just everything he does, he puts that passion into. And that's why he has risen as high in the music world as he has. It's just because he's such an incredible player and very together and a good guy. And somebody I'm just really proud to know, But yeah, that's pretty much, how we met and pretty much what I think of Johnny as a person and as a player. And I couldn't be more happy to have him on this CD, not only playing, but he also, like I said, he co-produced, he engineered, and he mixed the CD. So it's like, wow, it's really super special.
I think this was an obvious answer that I'm going to ask the question. The "How Do I Live"? I mean, is that the Trisha or the Leanne version?
It's the Trisha version. I had to pay. Now, I know Leanne did a really bang up job on that, but because of the Johnny, and the connection and the Trisha connection, we did the Trisha version. I played the melody more to what Trisha sang, and because hers was a little bit different, and I believe there was a steel solo in Trisha's as opposed to a sax solo in. We wanted to keep it more country, straight ahead country, and being that it was the country from 1985 to 2000, it was that was more apropos, I think, for that particular era, and. Yeah, I had to stick with Trisha.
Like I said, I knew before asking what the answer was going to be, but I just had to let you go ahead and answer it.
That is fine. That is absolutely fine.
Now, again, the album, the Nashville Keys Country Love Songs. I want to make sure, Becky, and let our listeners know where they can find more information about that, the upcoming releases and singles as well.
Well, it has been released to all formats. From Country Rewind Records on everything that you can get music on out there, not only nationally, but internationally. So that's super cool. So folks over in England and over in Europe can download these songs or the whole CD if they like. And, you can find me on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Becky Priest fan page. You can also go on my website at beckypriestmusic.com. I'm also on Instagram, which is instagram.com/Becky Priest Music. And that's pretty much right now how we're getting it out. This is such a brand new venture. We haven't got a website together yet for the Nashville Keys, but I do want to mention the other folks that played on this CD besides Keach Rainwater on drums, and Johnny on guitar, of course. I had Scotty Simpson, an amazing bass player who I work with. He's from Dallas, used to be in a band called Stallion, if any of you in Dallas remember that. And he went on to work with me and with Pam Tillis. And then he went on to be Travis Tritt's band leader and bass player and backup singer for about 10 years. And he is now with the Oak Ridge Boys. So he did an incredible job. And then we have Travis Toy. He played about half of the songs on steel guitar. He did. And Travis is, of course, the utility guy with Rascal Flatts. And I met Travis through touring with Patty Loveless. And Bradley Corbin, another Lone Star alumni. He played dobro and steel guitar as well. on a lot of the songs. And then my buddy from Cowboy Crush back in the day, the all-girl band that we were together in on Curb Records, Renee Trouet plays fiddle and mandolin. And then I had kind of an extra special guy come in because we did a Willie Nelson song, and you can't hardly do Willie without some harmonica. And so I brought in my ex-husband David Priest, who started out in West Texas playing with Leroy Parnell back in the day, and playing keys and Hammond organ, and singing backup, and then of course playing harmonica. So I had him come in and play harmonica on Always on My Mind. So that's the lineup for everybody. And then of course I did all the keys and the strings and electric pianos and stuff like that. But also one more shout out to Richie McDonald, because Richie McDonald gave me the quote on the back of the CD. And I just, the other night when we went to go see him at Nashville Palace, I just, I didn't hug his neck because we're not supposed to do that now, but we did the elbow thing, with the masks on and all that stuff. And I said, oh, thank you so much, Richie. Lone Star has always been there for me. They've always been behind me. Keach, I've known Keach since he was in Canyon back in the day. Michael Brett was also in Canyon, and that all turned into Texas C with John Rich and Dean Sands and of course Richie. It turned into Lone Star when they got their deal. So those guys have never forgotten me. They've always, been like a cheerleader for me, just like I've been for them. And they're just good friends. All of these folks that played on this CD with me are just such wonderful people and longtime friends. And who better else to make a love song album with than your best friend?
That is right. And again, find it everywhere you find your music, the Nashville Keys. And Becky, it has truly been a privilege to have the chance to spend some time with you today. I hope you have a continued great rest of your week, and I look forward to visiting again real soon.
Oh, you are such a sweetheart, Cameron. Thank you so much for your time and for allowing me to talk about my background and my friends and my family and my music. God bless you, man.
Now, it's hard to admit your life already peaked, which is why most of us won't do it, and maybe we never will. A new survey asked people of all ages what age they were when they peaked or when they think they'll peak, and the average answer is 37. But that doesn't mean that most people who are over 37 are willing to say it's all downhill from there, because 2/3 of people say they haven't peaked yet and their best years are still coming. Our final guest making a trek from a long ways across the pond this afternoon with us. We've got Matt and Jace from the Australian country band Darlinghurst with us. And first off, guys, I appreciate you taking some time to be on the show.
No worries, Cam. Thanks for having us. Thanks for having us, Cam.
Now, Matt, I'm going to let you just start things off here. When did Darlinghurst, when did you guys first start maybe jamming out a little bit? When did the group first form?
So it's been about 3 years we've been together now. We started writing songs, and we really enjoyed the process and got to a point where we just really wanted to show the world what we've been working on, and ever since then it's been a great journey.
Tell us a little bit about where the inspiration for music, how you guys first got connected in the first place. Jace, I'll ask you.
So we met through a mutual producer by the name of Pete Dacey. The girls, they'd been playing, doing like cover sort of stuff for a couple of years, and then they thought they wanted to record some original music, and that's when they went into Pete's studio to record some music. And at that time, Jason was working with Pete with songwriting and co-producing and stuff. So they formed a bit of a trio, and then they wanted to have another guitarist and singer, and that's when Pete called me, and I've known Pete ever since I was 16. So I get the feeling like Pete, he put us all in the he engaged that we're all sort of ready to do an original sort of act
sort of thing, because I think I know you asked me, like, would you ever do the original thing? Like, yeah, we'll do it if you know, all the stars align, I guess, with the right people and that. And, I think he just threw us into a room when he finally got the idea the thing and just sort of said, I'll see how you guys get along. And
we didn't kill each other?
No, we're all that's how it sort of came together, really.
As a new group together, I know you guys are trying to get your name out there. How trying has this last 12 months been, trying to get the new music out, trying to get the name out, and trying to keep focused, if you will?
Yeah, well, obviously with the whole, the whole worldwide pandemic and everything, it's been been challenging for everybody, really. But we've just tried to make it as positive as we possibly can and do what we can with the situation that we were in. So I think we literally wrote songs just for a good 6-7 months. So which is fantastic to have the time and stuff. But it's just really challenging, Cameron. Just like just trying to get doing what you can without sort of leaving your house, because we were all on a very strict lockdown out here in Melbourne. So just trying to make as good of a situation as we could. But very challenging.
Now, Jace, how hard was the songwriting process? I mean, with you guys being on total lockdown, I mean, was the Zoom rights, was that, did you ever get comfortable with that?
Yeah, I think it was pretty good, to be honest. Like we would have written songs, writing letters to each other if we needed to. No, I think the whole process was it was a good one. It generally is in our group. We're quite we all come from different sort of backgrounds, really, but for some reason it all sort of meshes in really well with each other. So the whole thing over Zoom wasn't too it wasn't any different from our writing stuff. But it wasn't really challenging. It was really more the situation than anything. The songwriting was one of the things that kept us very try to keep us sane, to be honest, and just sort of focus on on positive feelings and things, really.
Now, obviously, working, trying to get music into the U.S. market, where is the country music influence in Australia for you guys? I mean, who were the country acts that really inspired you guys?
Yeah, well, obviously, we still hear a lot of the US sort of music that comes out here or from around the world and everything. But we've got such a great Australian country scene here. So it's very, very vibrant. So there's a lot of great talent here and artists. We really like Brad Cox is one that we really like, and there's another band called the Buckleys that they're doing great things, and we really like a singer called Blake O'Connor as well. Yeah, so there's so many and Casey Barnes is smashing it out here. But there's so out here that of course the Wood Brothers and Lee Koenig and Troy Casadale. It's just there's a vibrant scene here. So we sort of just we listen to we listen to sort of everywhere. We sort of Australia gets sort of the best of.
I think we're kind of lucky too, because with all the festivals we play at, they're usually playing the same one, so we get to jump across them. We jump into ours. So
how would you define the Australia country sound as opposed to what you guys have seen coming out of Nashville as of late?
Look, it's obviously a little bit different. It's just with the whole culture sort of thing coming into the state. With the States and Australia, Australia does its own thing and America does its own thing. But it all, at the end of the day, I think what I've sort of observed is that it's all very genuine and unique to itself and a very honest. Country music is probably one of the most honest genres that you can listen to out there. It's very heartfelt music and they want to tell great stories and it's just it's just real stuff. So I think no matter whether in the States or in Australia, anywhere, I guess anyone that does country music, and is sort of and really live that whole thing, it's a very honest genre and a very you can't get more honest really than I think country music is. So.
Now, how long did it take once you guys got hooked up together, practicing and stuff? How long did it take for you guys to get the melding of the voices and that true harmony sound that you guys have?
I think it pretty much. Well, we've all singers in our own rights, and we've always performed. And I think even when Pete kind of kept us in mind to start the project, I think he already kind of knew that our voices would blend together. But I think it probably took a few rehearsals and stuff to get all the harmonies in the right places and finding out, if who's going to hit the higher harmony and the lower harmony, and But Jace does a lot of the you arrange a lot of the harmonies, don't you?
Yeah, well, I think the whole process is quite, it's even with the songwriting, a lot of aspects of it, it's sort of all naturally, it sort of just comes together quite easily, I think. I don't really know how to explain it, but yeah, it's such a good, it just fits everything sort of generally fairly easy without too much, we'll fight over who does the high harmony sometimes.
So the question is, who wins out if everybody wants the part? Who gets the part?
I guess that comes down to the songs. I guess we all sort of you sort of get that feeling. I guess when writing it that what sort of who it will sort of suit. Like I was saying earlier, because we all sort of come from quite a bit of a different background musically and all that. So. For example, Matt's come from a bit more of a folk sort of background and stuff, and if we had a song that's sort of kind of, a little bit more, I guess, on the acoustic side of things, or, that wants to tell a good story, we sort of swing it Matt's way, as long as he's not, a high voice. But it's sort of just that it's all a process, that it all sort of falls into place quite easily. We're pretty grateful that it sort of does. We haven't had too many.
Well, I think we've learned a lot with all because we have previously been probably the lead singer in a band.
Right.
Coming together, you have to find your time where you sit back and when you're up front, and it's quite like comforting to know that you can put your ego aside and, sit where you need to in the song.
What's the one thing, Matt, I'll ask you first and then Jace, if you'll follow. What's the one thing that you miss most about the live performance?
Just interacting with the fans out there, there's only so many Zoom and Skype performances you can do. But yeah, and also getting out on the road with the band, we like traveling together, and I think they like traveling with me, I'm not sure. But we like just, getting to new places and performing our music to people and, engaging with the fans.
Yeah, I'll probably second that too. It's, it's such I think that's what music's all about, really, is, it is, the connection amongst people, really. And I think, and that's exactly why we do it when we go out there, is to, go out there and just get, have a connection with someone, or, and just, hopefully we make some sort of, because it definitely makes an impact on us too when they're really getting something out of what we're, presenting, I guess. Mm.
And I think we've learned to appreciate that now, not being able to do it, because, with the, like doing those Skype and Zoom sessions, you feel like there is something missing, as much as they are fun to do, but there is that connection that is missing, and you notice that when you're not, performing in front of people.
That's right. And talk about the new single, Gotta Go Rodeo. Where'd the inspiration for this one come, and how much different is it with a release now in early part of 2021?
Well, the song came about. We were doing a songwriting session. We had a planned songwriting session. So I think it was like a Monday or something like that. Anyways, the girls came in, and as we do at the start of the day, we always talk about, what did we get up to over the weekend, and Cassie. We just came. We went to a wild party out in Cassie's hometown. Apparently, this place. So Matt and I have never been to this place, but.
Yeah, something you need to know about the girls, they're massive party animals. So you've got the two more of the band with you at the moment.
No, they were this place that they went to, apparently at the front of the gate, on the gate, it just says, leave your inhibitions here or something like that. And you walk in and apparently, it's just this really great, very, acceptive and collective group of people that just love having a good time. So they were sort of talking about this place quite a bit, and I was thinking, we're like, maybe we should write a song about it. So, and that's how it is. Matt and I, we will, I guess, one day I'll probably bring my my sleeping bag and my hot cup of tea. And
we might need a few years of conditioning before we get there. I'll out on that front.
Well, so that's how God Radio came about. We're so pleased that it's getting the reaction that that it is, and I guess getting released in in this sort of time. Again, it's just one of those things. It's a bit of an unknown sort of world at the moment, I guess, with how we're moving forward and adapting to everything. But we're just very fortunate that we're able to do that and sort of do what we do, and that it's resonating with the people. So it's absolutely wonderful, and we're very grateful for it.
That's good stuff. Now, Matt and Jace, of course, we want to let folks know where they can find more information, not only just about the single, but the other music, the upcoming dates as those become available, and all the socials as well.
Yes, so we're on all social media platforms, but the main ones are Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, so that's all under Darlinghurst Band. You've got to make sure you put band on the end because Darlinghurst is a suburb in Sydney here. So make sure at the end of that you put Darlinghurst Band. And you can head to our website to find out where all our gig dates and all our upcoming news with everything. And that's darlinghurstband.com.au.
All right. Well, guys, it has been great to visit with you guys, Matt and Jace. Appreciate you taking some time, a slight time difference, but we were able to make it work out, and hopefully we can catch up again real soon, guys.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, and we very much appreciate the support, Cameron. Thank you so much.
A few more good news stories that are making the rounds. First off, kindergarten teacher in Washington State's going viral after he went above and beyond, grabbed his laptop, and took students on a virtual field trip to the zoo. There's a police chief in Kansas who challenged his officers to make a positive impact on their community every day. Now a photo's going viral after one of them found out a woman was dealing with health issues and went and mowed her lawn. In another story over the weekend, a couple at an Outback in South Carolina noticed a tattoo on their waitress's wrist. She told them it was her dad's handwriting from a letter he sent when he was over in Iraq. So on their $58 bill, they left her a $500 tip. And last, a new survey found that more than half of America has donated money to a good cause during the pandemic. 56% of us have donated to charity in the past 12 months, and 1 in 7 people have volunteered. Well, thanks again for joining me for this 48th episode in Season 2 of Good Questions with Cameron Dole. If you ever have a comment, a question, or anything else you'd like to know, you can find me on all the socials, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all at GQ with Cam. You can also reach out on the contact page on the website. If you'd like to help out in the funding for this podcast, click on over to the shop at gqwithcam.com/shop. If you have a special guest idea, email me, gqwithcam@gmail.com. Thanks again to Brandon Allen for coming up with our theme music for Good Questions with Cameron Dole. We're going to let him play us out. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday.